Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we have Karen Tavolieri with us. Terrible about names. It's just like I stumble over them, and sometimes I say the wrong name through the whole podcast. A really good friend of mine I did that with. It was just like, what were you thinking? Anyway, Karen is peacock bold, and she is living her dream life now, but it wasn't always that way. And she is going to tell us that story. Right, Karen?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much, Jill, for inviting me on here. I'm so excited to share about my story. I was a kid who always wanted to be a mom. That was my biggest goal in life, was to have kids and to bring them up and have a happy life. Well, I started off and I had my first daughter and she was amazing. And when I went to have my second daughter, I kept telling the doctor that there was something wrong with my baby. And he kept saying, "Why do you say that?" And I said, "It just doesn't feel right." And he said, "Oh, quit comparing your pregnancies. Everything's fine." Well, when she was delivered, she wasn't right. She had a lot of disabilities. So we were told just shortly after she was born that she wouldn't live past 2. And so I was prepared for a lot of years of anxiety and depression. I wasn't set on having a child with disabilities, like no one would be. And so trying to maneuver that from the time she was sent home because she had a rough start, and not getting any place to go to help you. No one was there to help us. So I wrangled my way through, and at the time she was 2, she had a tracheostomy put in. Then we went on to the fact that she kept getting more and more surgeries. She was wheelchair bound for her whole life. And she was the happiest kid in the whole wide world. I can tell you that. She was just a blessing. And by the time she turned 16, she needed a machine to help her stay alive with her tracheostomy. And by the time she was 29, she was tired, and she had decided that it was time for her to go home to be with her Heavenly Father. So we prepared a party for her. We had an end of life party, and it was the hardest day of my life, knowing that this was coming to an end. And I was at the point where I had spent so many years taking care of Julie, and that was all I did in my life. And she was a peacock freak. So at her party, we had peacocks everywhere. She had her favorite cannolis. She had an ice cream sundae bar. She had a champagne fountain, a chocolate fountain with everything. And then she passed away, and I fell into 6 years of a deep, deep depression, anxiety. I had no clue where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do. So I was just about to turn 60, and this is after 6 years. And I met a psychic medium who came up to me at a friend's place and said, when I was with my oldest daughter, that "I have a message for you from Julie." And I kind of looked at her like, okay. And she said, "Julie wants me to tell you that she didn't come to Earth and be your daughter for you to suffer for the rest of your life after she'd suffered and passed. That's not what it was meant to be. You were to learn lessons and move forward and get on with your life, or she's going to come back and kick you in the butt." And I knew it was from Julie, because that was what Julie would have said. She was a no holds bar. She told you point blank. She had done everything in life. She went to university. She did all the things that they said she would never do. So the worst part was, and it broke my heart, was my daughter that was standing there with me, who was her older sister by 1.5 years. She looked at me and she said, "Yeah, Mom, I'm still here, and so are your grandkids." And I get goosebumps still to this day, because that really made me realize that I had been neglecting my family. And they were the most important thing in my world, was to have my family. So I spent days crying, which I'm trying not to. And I decided,
I'm not succeeding.
and so I decided I needed to find a way to get back to who I used to be, and what I wanted in life is to be happy. And so I went on a self-love journey, and I took an Enneagram course and a vision board class. And the vision board class opened my eyes to what I really, truly wanted in life. I'd had odd jobs here and there, but I wasn't able to have a career because Julie took so much of my time with her surgeries and stuff. So I did those two things and found out a lot of things about myself, the Enneagrams, and I decided I was offered to take the Vision Board first ever Academy class to become a facilitator for Dare to Declare Vision Boards. So I thought, hey, that's the perfect opportunity. Go to school and learn something new. So I did. I decided to start some networking after I finished and get some clients. And when I did that, I met some other people, amazing people. And I found out about hypnotherapy through a lady that I met. So I decided to take some hypnotherapy. And then I got into doing neuro-linguistic programming with this lady as well. And I'm telling you, it changed my life. I had been carrying around so many years of grief and just horrible, horrible guilt of what my life with Julie had been. I always looked at her as so much pain and agony. And instead of looking at all the things she was teaching me in life and the blessings that we truly had having her in our lives. And when I released all of that, it was like I had the whole world was off my shoulders, and I could finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I knew at that moment that grief is not a life sentence. It is a life changer. And we need to embrace it and discover what is good about grief. And I was able to do that with looking back at Julie and seeing that she taught me so many amazing things, how to be compassionate, how to be an empath to other people. And I know now that my mission on this earth is to go and travel the world and teach other women that they can get through this. If I can do it, anybody can do it, because I didn't have a huge education, and I just went on, keep learning and learning. I went on to become a Reiki master as well after all of that. And I just really don't want women to suffer for 6 years like I did. It's not necessary. And we need to move forward and find that the love that we had for that child, or the job that we've lost, or the children that have moved on in their life. Because grief isn't just about the loss of a child. It can be anything, a divorce. And we need to find the happy parts of it and move forward with those, and let go of all the baggage that we carry, so that we can, the rest of our families are waiting for us to come back.
And when we just focus on one aspect of our life, we're denying ourselves there's this one little sliver that we just get so focused on, when there's this huge smorgasbord of other delightful things that we're totally ignoring. And
Absolutely.
Your story touches me profoundly. And I've known other people who've had children that were horribly, horribly different. I'm going to put it that way. I don't think they're deformed. I don't think that they're wrong in any way. That's just the way they were created, and they came here for a purpose. And to me, I believe that they chose this.
Yes.
And if we can accept that, rather than we're responsible for it. I have a son who was born with glaucoma and in one eye.
Oh.
And he's blind in that eye now, but he's an adult, and it never bothered him. It was just it never slowed him down. And
Nope.
And his name is Jack Hart. So the one-eyed Jack on the cards.
Yep.
Is
That's
the
adorable.
suicide. It's the blind one.
Oh, that's so
he,
cute.
he just like, and he's the one that figured that out. It's just like, that's my identity. and,
Yep.
and he embraced it. And I think that if he weren't born that way, he wouldn't be the human being he is today. And it's just like the things that we go through, the trials that we go through, they really shape who we are. But you have the vision, you're doing the vision boards. And this kind of like so ironic because I was just working on a vision statement before I came on there. It's like synchronicity.
Yes, the university speaks all the time, right?
It totally does. It
Yeah.
totally does. And your daughter speaking to you from beyond, I am all about that. I've had experiences where I've heard from people on the other side, and it just like you could be open to it or you could not be open to it,
Yes.
but it's a thing. And once you've experienced it, you just know.
You know, there was no question about it that it was her because it sounded just like her.
So tell us a little bit about your coaching, how you help people. I know you've got lots of different things that you do, but
One of the biggest ways is through hypnotherapy. Hypnotherapy is an amazing way to gently and with ease and comfort just help your brain to listen to a different way. And sometimes that's all we need is that gentle little nudge that says, hey, it doesn't have to be that way. It can be this way. And I have success with people who stop smoking because of the hypnotherapy. I also have clients who have had so much anxiety, and I got to get to the point where I can ask them to take a picture before their session and after their session, because when you take someone who's so pent up with so much anxiety, they're like, you can see their teeth are just pulled together. And we do the session, and then when they come to and they're just kind of looking around, getting back to the world, and all of a sudden they just glow, and it's like, oh, this is why I do what I do, because it's just warms my heart to make somebody feel so good, because I know I've been there. At one point when Julie was first born, I wouldn't open the curtains it was almost a year before I'd open the curtains. I didn't want anybody to know I was awake for the day because I didn't want to talk to anybody. And it's so hard to be in that spot. But I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know. My doctor kept saying, well, just take these pills. And it's like, now that I'm older, I don't want to take all those pills. I know what they can do to this. And I've learned so much more. I wanted to find the holistic ways. And then again, the NLP, which is the neuro linguistic programming. And through modalities, we can take your brain and we can give you tasks, and we can do different things with hypnotherapy to change your story in your mind and make it a better story. And that just to me is so exciting that when I heard it at first, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. When I learned it, it was like mind blowing. It's just such an easy process, and it can be done, within weeks. You can be a whole different new person, have a new story, have a new outlook. And hey, I'm one of those people. I want to live to be 110, and I don't want to be laying in a bed. I want to be having fun. And it's all about reprogramming that brain to be that way.
Marissa Pierce says, tell yourself a better lie.
Yeah.
Your brain is going to tell you stuff, and you can tell it what to think. And it's so powerful. And what are your thoughts on vision, on creating visions?
I can tell you, I have done vision boards, and I have 2 of them that are on the go right now. I have also a couple power word cards that I use. But the vision boards, they may not manifest exactly how we think they're going to manifest. But I'll tell you, when you stop and you really look at it, it's like, yeah, I guess I do actually have that, but it's just in a different form. And it's being open to receive those things that may come to you in a different way. And it's always manifesting. New things are coming my way. And it's been such a joy to be on this path compared to when I think of where I was. If you could see a picture of me 5 years ago, you'd never know it was the same person. It's truly been an unbelievable thing. I have people all the time tell me that, you can't be that age. And it's like, yeah, that's what I am. So yes,
And
you can change it, just changing your thoughts. And Florence Shinn has a book, and it's called The Complete Works of Florence Shinn. And she talks about our mouths and our thoughts are our powerful magic wand in the universe. And what you think and what you speak truly is what you get back.
be so careful with the words we put out there, because they are energy and they do create. And when you talk badly about yourself, it makes me cringe when I hear people say things about themselves that it's not true.
No.
But it could become true. You keep
Yeah.
saying it long enough and it will happen. and then just the power of changing your thoughts so that you can change your words, because what you're thinking about is what comes out of your mouth, and it creates your actions in life.
Yes.
And I was going somewhere with this, but I got run over by the train.
And that's okay.
Hit me again.
That's okay, because you know what? It's one step at a time. If you can't see yourself getting out of where you're at, change one little thing, and you'll be surprised at what you can do, because it's so true. When I stopped and I read that book with Florence Shinn, it really made me realize all the things that I'd been saying about myself or thinking about myself that were stifling where I needed to go and what I wanted in life. And it's amazing how things are starting to change so much. It's like, I would have never believed that I could do something like this, but here I am today. I'm doing this and doing the things I am, and absolutely loving life. And having my hair is the greatest conversation piece with people. And, people used to say to me, well, why would you do that? And it's like, that's because my Julie meant so much to me. And once I realized how much she meant to me, I was missing her so. And my hairdresser said, I know how to fix that. And we put peacock hair color. And that's why I have that hair color. And I carry her everywhere I go. She's always in my thoughts. And she had so many surgeries and did so much in life. And she was always the happy person. And that's who I want. How I want people to remember me, because I still, to this day, 8 years later, have people come up to me and they'll ask me about, say, I love your hair. And I always tell the story, and they'll say, did she used to go to such and such a place, or did she live here? And I say, yeah. And they say, I know her. Her name was Julie. And it's like, yeah, people still to this day say what a beautiful child she was, and what a great inspiration she was for what she went through. And so that always gives me the hope that, I can be that someday, that people will say, hey, I remember her. She changed my life, even just a little bit. That's, if we all went around and changed each other's lives just a little bit, how much better this world could be.
That is what it's all about. It is just touching one life, touching another, and the ripple effect. And really, the tagline is being the change you want to see in the world. Well, people like you are making it possible for the world to be a better place. And instead of, worried about all the things that could happen, you guys are out there doing stuff that's making it better. So we don't have to worry about the things that could happen. This is happening.
Yes.
Change is happening, and it's change for the better, because coaches are connecting with people and helping them solve problems that, when you first experience the trauma of having a child that had all these difficulties in the beginning, and you had no one to talk to. That's kind of criminal.
It was.
When you think about it, it's cruel, because you have no resources. And I'm not talking about the government providing resources. You need resources from other people who've walked the path before. And now that you're standing on the other side of the path, you're like, here, I can help you. I can make this journey much easier for you. And that is so beautiful to me. And your hair is a conversation starter for sure.
Yes, it is.
I love it. It's blue and purple and silver and just like all the great, and teal, all my favorite colors.
Yes, mine too. Oh. Yeah, you just gave me a really brilliant idea, talking about, being the person who's there to help others. And you just gave me an idea to reach out to hospitals, because when I left the hospital after having Julie, I was not assigned anyone. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know how to take care of Julie. And I now know that I need to get in touch with the hospital and find a way to be there for service to those who have a child who has, right off the bat, they know there's something wrong with that child, and be there to support that person, because that's what I needed.
My son was born with glaucoma, as I told you, and I didn't have any idea what was going on. And it's a far cry from what you went through, but there are a lot of people that have kids that have things that make them different and offer challenges. I mean, Jack used to run into things and burn himself because couldn't see on the left side of his body. And while it didn't slow him down, it did cause some problems. He used to ride his bike, and it was just like, I was terrified he was going to veer off into and get hit by a car.
Oh, yeah, that fear is horrible.
It really was. We'd go hiking. I was afraid he's going to fall off the cliff.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a son and a boy, and there's only so much holding on you can do before you really start damaging them. So
Yes.
it's just like, you just pray like crazy.
You do a lot of that. You're right, because letting go is the hardest thing. I can remember when Julie got her first wheelchair and letting her go off on her own with an electric wheelchair. And it's like, oh my gosh, she's going to run out in the street. She's going to do this. She's going to do that. And it's like, no, she was a pretty good driver all in all. So they do learn from our example. And if we can set a good example and let them be free, they have so much potential. Like when they told us she would be nothing, and she went to university and she got 3 degrees. And, it's like, yeah, she just kept going and going. And granted, where we at times she would be so sick and they would tell us she wasn't going to make it. And we'd whisper in her ear and say, this is going to happen. Don't forget, your sister's having her first baby. You got to be here. You're going to be an auntie. And she'd rally up and she'd get back to, being half of what she was, and she'd keep going. And then the next time something would happen, and it was like always we could give her a reason to come back and be with us. And then it just got to the point where she couldn't. So yeah, it's amazing what you can tell somebody and get them to do. 29 and almost 30 years, 2 weeks shy of her 30th birthday compared to 2, she did pretty darn good fighting.
That is really an amazing story. And her legacy, you are her legacy. And that you can reach out to people that are struggling with not knowing what to do. And just having somebody to talk to and say, this is what they're suggesting. What do you think? Does this make sense to you? And that's such a huge blessing. That would have been a huge blessing to me. I was like, I had no one to talk to either. And I just was doing whatever the doctor said to do. And
yeah, that's hard.
They're less than helpful most of the time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I can remember the doctors telling me one thing and I'd be like, and they would say, oh, kids like this, we just do this. And I'm like, what? How do you call them just kids like this? They're human beings. They're an actual person. And I would always go for a second opinion. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. So what's the one thing that you want people to take away from this conversation today?
I really want, especially women, to understand that there is hope after any tragic thing that they go through. Trauma is always reversible. It's just finding that little step to get you moving forward and taking it one step at a time. And my next thing in life is, let's discover your dreams. Let's go on a call and find out what is it deep down inside that you really want to do. And I know it's going to be hard, but I have ways to pull it out of you and find out what it is. And realizing that it's not a life sentence. You can get through anything. If I can do it, anybody can do it. It's not easy. But if you're ready to make a change and spend the rest of your life enjoying your family, the people around you who really love you and miss you, then take that step. It really is important, because I didn't realize how much my daughter and my grandkids were missing me and my husband. I had no clue.
So beautiful. So how can people get in touch with you?
I have my website, which is Peacock Memories. And I'm also on Instagram as Karen with Peacock Memories. And I'm on LinkedIn and Linktree. And I have a personal Facebook page, Karen Tavolieri. You can find me on there and message me. I'd love to chat. And my email is Karen at Peacock Memories. Everything is Peacock Memories. So if you can look up Peacock Memories, you'll find me.
That is so beautiful. So beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Karen. This has been such a marvelous conversation.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. And I'm so grateful for you allowing me to share my story with you and others.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.